I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us another day of life on this beautiful morning, and thank you for watching over us as we traveled into Rotary. And please watch over the fellow Rotarians that are not able to be here with us this morning. And please continue to lead us as we do service above self. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. All right, I think we're ready. Several little items I need to cover this morning. Jake's food. I haven't paid for Jake yet, but I will in a second. You got to do it. Please do. What happened at your house this morning, Tucker?
There was an unauthorized person driving in my driveway in one hour.
Say that.
I was outside.
Yeah, he was out and
Just
just
called him.
it was a social call. And he was outside with his truck and lights on.
What time morning?
It was 20 after 6. So I just thought I'd make a social visit this morning. So good, glad to see you this morning.
When I make a social visit to your house, I don't get fined for that.
You know it. All right, good deal. All right, a couple items I need to cover. And this is sort of sensitive, so please keep in mind. Rick, I'll get to you in a minute, because we've got to deal with this. All right, 3 weeks ago, and I mentioned to the club 3 weeks ago, I parked in an area and got a ticket.
Yes, you did.
And Steiger, Rotary Steiger came by, lock him up, yelling in his truck, window down, give him a ticket. I mean, he went off the wall. And the guys, you know, he knew who this guy was. I said, I don't even know him. So anyway, I got a $50 ticket, as I explained to you. Anyway,
It's going to cost you guys to make it good.
you might as well get, I need $2 from you. All right. We may not be through with that yet, but anyway, it's caused me a lot of stress.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have parked there.
Well, I know, but I learned a lesson quickly, not to pay attention to anything you're doing. All right, next time, all right, dealing with this. Okay, Rick, you sent out an email.
I did. I usually do.
Yeah, and you sent out an email and two responses on this email. Okay, first of all, you created a lot of stress. You know, only 2 people responded. Reinhardt was insulted by Gavin because basically it was a redneck wearing shorts. Okay, and I don't know if that's appropriate for the president of the club to send out something, and then our secretary was insulted because of being called a redneck. So I need $1 from you because you created a problem.
I'll be glad to give you $1, but I've never used the word redneck.
Well, I know, but it still came back from Gavin talking about our good secretary.
Okay, Gavin's talking about the secretary and
Yeah.
I'm paying the
But
fine.
you said, Gavin's not here, he was going to be.
My logic in that.
All right, now,
All right.
Regina. All right, is there anything to confess this morning on your side?
Yes, so I myself got a parking ticket 2 weeks ago. I kind of figured I wasn't supposed to park there, figured I would chance it, come out, have the slip. As I was pulling out, the guy that gave me the ticket saw me, and I don't know if anybody's seen my car, but it's very tiny. It was very loud. So then he proceeds to want to ask me about my vehicle, and I was just a little irritated at this point. I was like, you already checked it out, you gave me the ticket, so.
All right, well, wait a minute.
Okay.
Steiger, is he $1 from you because Regina got a ticket?
Right.
I had much stress too.
Right. That makes it right. I think
You know what?
that police officer they put on campus, he was racking up $50 a pop, and I'm paying $3.
How was it?
And
He looks good on his bicycle, by the way. sneak up on you, you don't tell me about it.
All right, why not?
Ferrari makes my edition car, so it's like a little Italian race car, so it's really loud. I mean, and it's really tiny.
I'll pay her fine for her fine.
Okay, all right.
Hey,
Well, I think-
I think Wayne should play trying to interrupt the conversation.
All right, Regina, who is your mentor? I need $1 from you, because number one, you should have talked to Regina in advance, and so she's not so stressed this morning. We're covered.
Ticket fixed.
Did you get a ticket?
Wayne, I got ticket fixed.
Yeah, I
He
think you
did
got
get
it
the
fixed.
ticket fixed. He did give me,
He did, I saw that
Yes.
this morning.
You don't get tickets fixed.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, we got the law satisfied. Thank you.
okay. So, are you okay now, Regina?
He just paid
I
off.
am.
All right, you're okay.
I will say that Rick won me $1. I only had $1, but instead of giving it back, I'll go ahead and give it to you.
One day.
All right, good deal. All right, that's enough this morning. Yes, yes.
I gotta make a self-confession. I missed 3 meetings, nobody said anything, so I'm gonna throw $3 in the pot.
No, that's not on the.
That's on you.
That's on the president.
Yes.
Who was your mentor?
I forgot.
But that's okay. It's on the president. Mr. President.
Here,
You got to look at
give
it.
me two back.
All right.
Wayne,
Yes.
give me two back. You got it in your hand, right?
I was going after him to give you back.
Yeah, boy, God.
He's supposed to get sorry. That's what's no good for you.
We'll have to take your money, but Rick is responsible.
For 1 year, that's right. Wayne, I put $30 in here.
Correct, would you mind make an announcement on this?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, you put $30.
I already told everybody, you weren't in here.
Okay, good deal. Bob has a place in his shop, and he's got to sign up for donations. And this morning, $30. $30 in the box. But
Thank you, Bob.
in all honesty, what I'm going to do, I'm going to return the $1 to you. You're doing such a nice job.
A rebate.
I thought it was the first. He went
And you got that on camera, right? Wayne, give me money back.
Wayne, he already got $5 from me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 35 in the pot then.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, we'll go. Thank you, Wayne, and everybody else.
Today is the club assembly, and we need to get out of here by 7:50.
Yes.
So we can get these things back in that room before that meeting takes place. A few quick announcements. I just found out in the last 15 minutes that Rise Against Hunger is being postponed. Okay, it will not happen a week from Saturday, and it's up in the air as to when.
So just take it off and build
Yeah, take it up to the calendar. Later, just send an email out. Speaking of cancellation, those of you who know about the stand down, we're going to still do the stand down, but we will not be doing the dental part of it. The dental lab doesn't want crowds in there, so they're going to be closed. So sometime in the summer, we will have a special dental stand down. We've never done that before, but I think it's about time for us to do that because so many people want dental care. I sent this picture out yesterday. I hope you had a chance to take a look at it. It looks really nice so far. The 4 blocks that you see are each block has a little bit of history of the miracle of Hickory on it. There's nothing on the monument itself or anywhere on the wall that indicates that either the Boy Scouts, they're supposed to be on there all as well, or Hickory Sunrise is sponsoring and maintaining. I've sent a message to Warren Wood, assuming it's not, it doesn't look like it's finished yet, because there's some wires, I'm sure lights are going to go on and stuff like that, but it's looking pretty good. It's going to be pretty nice. I just want to make sure, we get up there. I sent especially for you new folks, a copy of our strategic plan. Let me give you a little bit of background on things, and it'll tie into our discussion today. We started this club in November 2000, and so it's hard to believe, Steve, 20 years coming up on it.
It is.
And we had probably, I think the most people we ever had at any one time was 38. I think that's about right. And at one time, we may have been the most diverse club. And we had people from like 6 different countries in our club. But you know, life happens. People move away, things, and so on. But somewhere early on, and I can't tell you what year, we began trying to do some fundraising. And we weren't exactly sure what we were going to do with money, but we did things. I remember for, I think 2 years in a row, we sold roses. And I can remember vividly being at Grandview Middle School in a big room at teacher's lounge, I think it was, as we were cutting and putting in vases and getting thorns in our fingers and all kinds of stuff. And we might have made 2,000, I think, on that. Then somebody said, oh, we can sell oranges. And we did that, what, 4 years, maybe? 3 or 4 years. And they were, the oranges and grapefruits, they were pretty good. A lot of labor for a short period of time, loading the truck and so on and so forth, unloading. And made about $3,000 on that. And then Steiger says, why don't we do a dance? And lo and behold, we did the first one at Holler Mill. Did not like the venue because we didn't like the food. We thought we got short-shifted on the food that night.
We did.
And so Bob went to Moretz Mill and got that, and we've been there. It has been extremely successful. Has been. Got so much money for the first 2 dances, we thought, okay, now we need to start talking about budget, really getting things down on paper. And so we started putting a budget together. Also, about 6 or 7 years ago, this is I think prior to the dances, we came up with a strategic plan. Annually, we meet at Steve's office on a Saturday morning, and for about 3 hours, close to 3 hours, we sit and talk about
Some of us.
Yeah.
Gavin shows up at 5 o'clock.
Gavin shows up 5 minutes before the meeting's over.
You didn't do a sufficient job for the newbies of building up the frustration with trying to run a fundraiser. We also had a car show, and we had a game program that we ran at the gym, trying to get these kids. Anyway, we've had a lot of
And it's been a discussion.
stressful effort.
But that's a setting for the new people. We made money on everyone.
Yes.
Amount of money. So
It's just that we got tripled when we got the first dance.
Yeah.
We thought, oh boy. And so with more money, then we began to say, what can we do with it? How can we help other people? And so on. And we have basically, Glenn shows us monthly a budget, but also in the budget, there is, let me back up. We put a budget together, let's say we think we're going to raise $30,000, so we have a budget where we're going to spend $30,000, zero-sum budget. But over and above that, we have, how much money? Like $15,000 or $20,000 extra. That we have about $15,000, $20,000 extra in a bank account.
I'm gonna pass around right
Okay,
now,
all right.
our current statement.
And that is like a fallback thing. If we need it, we can take something out once in a while. I think we had said a few years ago, we never want that balance to go below $15,000.
Plus we have a CD.
Yes, we do. And Glenn's done a great job keeping track of all that stuff. So we're in pretty good shape financially. And at one point we weren't. And we're okay. But we have seen the dances bring fewer dollars in. And we get down, instead of doing 2 dances, we're doing 1. We have committed to doing 1 in October, just to see how that goes. If it goes well enough, we'll make that our annual fundraising effort.
Do we have a date certain for that?
Yeah, 24th.
May I make a quick comment?
Sure.
We made money when we fellowshipped, when we cooked our own food, when we did all of that. That's when we made the most money. And quite frankly, I enjoyed it, coming out on Saturday morning, closing work. I understand, life happens and things change, but it was working and we changed it.
And that's a good point, because we did fellowship cutting the roses. We did fellowship on barbecues and the
Richard had to stay up all night.
but a lot of us do with the dance as well.
Sure.
But we decided at one point, let's meet in Steve's office and begin to put together a strategic plan, which is what you have here. We have met occasionally to sort of update, but I'd like you to take a look at, not right this minute, but over time, between now and our next retreat, which probably will be in late April, early May. And because I want to make sure we have a good feeling, this is what I want to discuss, of who we are and what we're about and what we're going to do. All right. Let's see. All right, so the question was, what do we want to do and be? And we have to keep in mind not only our history. We've often said we were the small club that did big things, and I believe that for the number of people who are active, we get a lot done. We've tried to focus on the community, what do the community folks need, and we did discuss that everybody who comes in with a program is not necessarily going to get money from us. We'll listen to programs, and we came up with a finance committee who would discuss the request and come back to the whole club with a recommendation, yea or nay. Sure.
And I think little stuff like, for people, we need to understand, the reason that we put that in place is because of the kind of club we had. Because when people come, everybody would want to give everybody something. So we put in place a stopgap so that you have to think about it before they weren't trying to give you.
Don't make an approval that day.
Yeah, we're trying to give everybody every time they came, no matter what they said,
And not only did we do a finance committee, but we did a subcommittee off of that who actually evaluated those.
Yeah.
And they came back to the club with the recommendations.
And let me say this, Rick, and I won't stop, but some of us, the ones that's here, the one thing, whenever our club comes, we give. And we're discussing who we're gonna give it to, which is a good thing, because we give. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna give, and that's a good place to.
It is a good thing. That leads me into the whole point of the question of what do we want to do and be, because, as I said here, once we reach consensus on who we are, 2020, Hickory Sunrise Road, who we are, what is it that we want to do and be, that will help us focus on what kind of fundraising we want. Ben?
Just real quick, I'm sending around those, as you were making reference to the budget, 2 of the sheets have a highlighted balance. One is for checking as of last night, and the other is for the CD, which matures or comes to due in September, so there's time. And then the January report reflects in and outs for January, and then the company bank statement. So for those of you that are newer, that's what those are that's going around, and accompanying documentation for each of the transactions. So if you have questions, please let me know. But I want to make sure BB&T kind of changed the format, so I had the way I print it. So if you see the highlighted balance, you'll see that's what we got. That's an actual statement of money in the bank. I can make reports up all day long, but that's our. Not that I would do that, but I'm just saying.
Glenn, what's the period on the CD?
Went that for 2 years.
2 years.
We've gotten $238.50. It's kind of like, bam, this is what you get. It was a fixed rate. rate, so the amount you see, they've given us our, because I kept asking, what's our interest, what are we making? You know, because it didn't say anything, and so that I believe reflects what we know.
And because Glenn does that, we are very transparent.
Oh, yeah.
And what we have, everybody knows, it's not a secret, and I can't thank you enough Glenn, for sharing that information. And
How
that's
many members does the not Sunrise Hickory Club have? Approximately.
Lake Hickory and Lake Hickory.
one of us well over 100 on the book.
Yeah.
I think they both.
Okay.
Hickory is the largest club in the county, and Lake Hickory is probably number 2.
Okay. I got it right?
Yeah.
What a day not to have my glasses.
777.
Hickory's got 109,
Is that all?
according to their foundation
Yeah,
report.
that's the ones they pay for.
As of July 1, they have a 109, and Lake Hickory has 74.
It's like at Oktoberfest, I think we had more people working
Yeah.
than either one of
Yeah.
them, and we're just.
Well, the Hickory Club decided not to do it. There was a little controversy in the newspaper, and they don't want to be part of anything like that. The other
Was
club-
that a beneficial fundraiser for the club, the Oktoberfest?
Well, we hope it's going to be.
Was it last year?
No, it was an add-on. We had no idea we were going to do it. So when we put our budget together, about anticipated income, that was included, we didn't know we were going to do it.
Right, but I mean, did it seem, because I was in the hospital right after, so I don't think I ever heard the final number.
$2,900.
2,900.
It raised good money.
Yeah, it sure did.
But
That's the hours
for the project.
About $3,000.
And no outlay for us, never the time. We
Right.
should spend it.
Yeah, it's a paid service project.
Right. I just, I didn't know if that was beneficial for us to try to do every
Oh,
year.
absolutely.
Anybody want to throw out a thought of, what we want to do and be?
Well, like she's talking about that, the Oktoberfest, we don't know for sure if we're gonna be able to do it.
That's correct.
So we can't count on that.
And I would, at this point, if we put a, and we're going to have to put a budget together prior to our end of year meeting. My suggestion is we not put that in as anticipated income. We don't know yet.
So we might get it like icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly.
And the dance, and this, because, kind of like burnout, because it don't take much to burn start out. But anyway, that little burnout, because the same people, same people do it every time, and then we have people coming up. But honestly, if we would, pick the right day and spend time, we can make money on that. But then it is a lot of outside work that,
And you bring up a good point. And I think I alluded to it earlier, was that we have to take into consideration the size of this club when we decide what to do as far as work in the community and stuff like that, and also putting on a fundraiser. One of the clubs in town does that soccer tournament, but they got a lot of people doing it and working it. And so as we think about who we are, what we want to do and be, we have to really be realistic about the kind of thing we can do. And we talk many times about, don't just be the club that yells out loud. Come in here, we can do. Occasionally, there'll be an issue, a person in need that will travel, good educational experience, and individuals come up with money to help with that. That's fine. We do that. But I'd rather get out there. I remember we used to clean up the highways and stuff.
yeah. But that was a good fellowship. We really, because what happened, some people got older and can't walk up and down the road. I wasn't one of those that got older. So the other people got older, they couldn't walk. That's what happened.
Yes, sir.
And maybe it's just my bullheadedness, but there's nothing
nothing that this club can't do regardless of size.
We always.
And we've done it. I mean, we've out fundraised some of the big guys.
Yeah.
And I noticed that somewhere I read that somebody felt the lacrosse tournament would be too resource intensive.
I wrote that down as a possibility it could be, yeah.
You know, and again, we sort of visited it, then we backed off of it. If you remember what I said when I was in the Lake Hickory Club, every single meeting for a year, all we talked about, we had little things on our desk that talked about soccer. And now soccer is well over $100,000. Now they probably net about $60,000 to $65,000. That's their main fundraiser. But it took several years to get it to that point. And my point being, if we're going to dig in and take on one of these, even if it's a dance or whatever, then we got to do that. It's got to be on our radar all the time. And I think a lot of what we do is we come to the meeting, we talk about it, and we don't think about it again until we come back to the meeting. So whatever we choose, I'm confident we can do. But it's just a matter of keeping it on the radar. And by the way, let me just digress. And we sold chicken and dumplings also as a fundraiser.
But remember, the point you're making is that those things that we've been most successful at involve fellowship and hands-on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And those two things are our strengths.
Yes.
And should be considered in our planning.
Absolutely.
And I believe this. I believe whatever we pick is going to be successful. But the reason I wanted to dance, and I guess you can tell the truth on this, you know, it got to the point where you were doing most of that leg work on the other hand. And if we figure out a way to put it together so that it's kind of plug and play kind of situation, and pick the date, pick that, because I mean, we have people asking us about our thing. Everybody knows asking when y'all had, then we did too. You know, we kind of got away from it, and then people had to get out, so that we could get whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever.
But when we picked that project, there was another feature that just dawned on me, and that was, it was in the line of passion of certain of our members. We had Ron, we had Bob that were shaggers, and members of shag clubs, and that outreach into the community also tended to bring us participants and income. So if we can stay in an area of focus that somebody has a passion for, we're better off.
From a needs standpoint, I'm not expecting a finite answer right now, but thinking about it. What does the community need and how can we help? Is something that we consider.
You've seen, is it Houston? They build a number of small homes for homeless veterans. And those of you who've been around a while, you remember when we were down over the hill here in the lower eating area? I think it was Bob brought up the subject of building a room or part of the Habitat House. And I don't know why we shouldn't consider trying to spearhead some of this micro-housing. We almost had, through Sandown, we almost had that project on 70 behind the old Howard Johnson's. Remember, we thought we had a lot locked up, and then Rudy kind of, I'm throwing stones.
We had that motel.
Rudy kind of sabotaged that. But I think
We had a guy willing to buy the motel and turn it into a place for veterans and
we didn't want those kind of people in this town. We didn't want to attract them.
Then on Highland, the property on Highland, he was going to build a whole community,
Yeah.
and they turned it down.
I think it would behoove us to look at that as part of the Veterans Helping Veterans goal, and that is to facilitate the rehabilitation and reassimilation of homeless veterans.
I would say yes to that, and I'm speaking from a veteran standpoint, and what I see going on is that these are great projects that once the house is built, the people connected with it walk away. And you could put a family in there, but how you gonna keep them in there? how's it gonna maintain, how they gonna be able to pay the rent and all that kind of stuff, you know? And I would like to see whatever it is, that it's ongoing successful. And that's an issue. A lot of people we built little houses for everybody.
I think,
Then what?
yeah, and I think we also got to be mindful that a certain percentage of the folks that's homeless want to be homeless.
Yeah.
As crazy as that may sound, they don't want the responsibility of light bill, water bill, taxes, all the things that go with home ownership. If they can just live in their tent and be content and perfectly fine. Thank you for your house, but we don't want it. But and the point you make is, once we put them there, then what? Now, and to answer that, I think it has to be a partnership with a Habitat for Humanity or somewhere like that, who's going to be the arm or the conduit to make sure that the rent's
Sustainable.
Absolutely.
Some of you may be familiar with the program in Asheville. Jim, you may know the name of the place, but for over 30-some years, there's been a big housing place for veterans and their families. Homeless people, whatever, they go in there. They can stay up there for 2 years, but there's somebody in there running it. There are programs for rehabilitation and training and things of that nature, so it is sustainable. It's paid for by the churches in Montgomery County. For years, they've been funding money in this, and it hasn't been working.
But that's a transition, getting them ready to transition.
Exactly.
Yes, but they have mentors that work with each family or each individual.
It's not designed to keep the rest of your life.
Okay.
Yes, Bob?
If you take a hard look at what Austin's done with the Boat Project, somebody familiar with the Boat Project?
Yeah.
It is on fire. And the employers, Richard can add to this, the employees are grabbing those folks coming up as quick as he can get them out there. Because our economy is back rolling again, and now we've told everybody to go find jobs. We don't need you anymore. We're not building furniture, we're not building textiles, and now all that's back, and there's nobody to do the jobs. So I think Richard, you've taken a few, or you take them out of the work release program out of the prison camp. And they make great employees because they're driven there, they're driven home, they have their lunch, they can't do this, they can't do that, but there's a great need there without doing the housing and everything else. It's just getting these people when we mention them. You know, if Steve would go in one day and say, this is how you need to look, this is how you need to present yourself, and this is what they're doing. I don't know who's taking the directorship, but Austin said he was hiring somebody full-time, and that was the program rolling. So maybe that's a need we need to look at, and that falls right into our education.
Yeah, we want to help out this umbrella here. We want to help people get education who need help to get education. We want to help people in need if we can, if we can identify the needs and if we have the resources to help. That's been who we are. We reached out and tried to help people. That's service of ourselves.
And I think that Austin is a resource on this club.
Oh yeah,
Austin is still one of us.
Yeah, and I keep him on the list of emails and stuff like that. He responds.
I met with him last week, spent a little time at Project Hope, and really, I think it'd be great to invite Austin back in and give that project a program. And it would be a great program. He was telling me, the foundation that I'm involved in started with donations for tickets for those that need to get to court, go to work and all that, and it grew out of it, and it is extremely successful.
He's got a great
and all.
He's got a great talk right now. He came to our college group and did that talk. And he was well received.
The field trip that we're doing next week, Rick, that gentleman, the general manager that we're going to see at Blue Ridge Moldings, he's negotiating with Austin right now for some employees, so maybe we'll be able to see the other end of the spectrum.
Where are we going next week?
Blue Ridge.
It's not Roll Tech, but that was last week.
Yeah.
That's
Blue Ridge Moldings.
Blue Ridge Molding.
Yes, 6:45 next Wednesday. And I'm told if we take Tate Boulevard and turn left at Catawba Valley Hospital, there is Wesley Hall Furniture on the right-hand side.
Behind Wesley Hall? Okay.
Yes. And this is a division of Blue Ridge Mowing is owned by the Fondrells.
Are you gonna send that out again?
Yeah.
But it's just.
Yeah, I'll get it directed.
So it's not, like, you're going down the page, it's not towards the hospital, it's on the other side.
At the intersection there, you turn
It's
left.
Spencer Road.
Correct, yes. 645 will meet outside the trail, yes.
And I'll set more reminders.
Okay.
Keep and Bob, thank you for getting some of these things going for us, because I think it's good for us to get in the community. There are things in the community I didn't know were there.
Yeah, me and you both.
Yeah.
There's a lot more companies that have invited us. I know we've got to get, I'm gonna tout Richard a little bit. He's doing a massive project right now for what's the name of it? Blue Origin? The stairs for the shuttle. Rocky.
And I don't know how many of you ever been in his
We need to do
plant.
that.
At all. It's blew me away from my side. It's amazing.
Plus with his new machine.
I think that
He's
goes.
got a new pipe.
He's got a new robot.
Mortal breaker.
I like opportunities for us just to sit and talk. I think it's good, and it helps us keep thinking about who we are, what we want to do. We're going to be leaving in just a few seconds here. Thank you for your cooperation and stuff, Steve.
I just want to make a quick comment, because I got to meet with a couple hundred people in a few hours. And I'm not the medical expert. Doc is in fact the medical expert. But I think we got to keep things in perspective as it relates to this COVID-19. It's the flu. I mean, we've been dealing with the flu forever and ever and ever, amen. And the 6 of the 7 people in Wake County that was diagnosed with it, they're at home. Okay? The media says if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't bleed. So we got to be cognizant of that and not just go bonkers, but do all the things you need to do. Wash your hands and they said the folks, 65 and older with certain medical issues didn't stay out of crowds, but Doc.
Well, I just actually went to two meetings about it. They had 3 meetings, actually. They had a town hall meeting at the hospital, and then they had another meeting that was an update for the medical staff, and then we had another update at the office that was through CDC. So it spreads like the flu, and it's no more infectious than the flu, but it's more dangerous than the flu, and the mortality rate is higher than the flu. So it's not really the flu, except that it spreads like the flu.
Right.
So it is and it isn't. It is in China, it was particularly dangerous for elderly, and the CDC determines elderly is 60 and above, which those of us who are knocking on the door of 60 do not like that definition. But in Italy, it particularly affected men over 30. So it seems to be varying in different countries, and we don't know yet how it will do in the United States. So I thought that was really interesting. I had not heard that about Italy, and studies are coming out.
Right.
So women seem to be faring better, and it's no worse than pregnant patients, which I really liked, so that was good. But, so that's what I learned, which I thought was very interesting. And in the one area of China, it was really bad, but in the rest of China, it wasn't so bad. So I don't know how it will do in the United States, but I think it is coming. I thought it was very interesting. The CDC did already put out, which I did not know, but my father-in-law's 80, so we're kind of keeping an eye on that for him. But they recommended that people that are elderly, and they determined that as 60 and over, but I mean, I think more, we think of 70, 80, 90, but they really recommended not being in any crowded place. So they defined that as, a shopping mall, a movie theater, a sports arena, a religious service, like any place. They said really don't go to any of those. And still wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is no better than washing your hands with soap and water. So, I mean, they're equal. So if you water, soap and water is just as good. But, you know, and then all the other things, like wash before you eat, cough in your, sneeze in your elbow, you know, those kind of things. Use tissues and throw it away, and all those things. But that's kind of what I learned. But the hospital has canceled all their public things. They had a ball that was coming out, it's canceled. All their meetings, they're gonna maybe try to hold Skype, but a lot of universities in the country, like Ohio State, is doing all online classes. I mean, several big things. I mean, it's really interesting. So
But have you had anybody in it, children, that have not been affected?
well, I think it does, it can affect the age, you know, the aged and the very young, but I have not heard of much in real little kids. But I don't know, you know, I don't know how it did.
And as of yesterday, speaking with our local experts in a meeting, there are no cases
They
in
haven't
Kentucky.
been in Utah County. They did a test, they did one test at the hospital, it was negative, and they have another lady they're testing with the suspicion is low.
Right.
So I can tell you that for Utah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Just common sense. Wash your hands. Steve.
Oh, the thing we didn't say,
Mayor,